What is up, Sooner Nation? Welcome back, Sooner Surge live on this Saturday night. Germ, are you there?
Can you see me?
Yep, I can hear you. I can see you. Everything's good.
FYI, I can't see any comments on the screen tonight, so something's still going on with on my side of things. But
what's up, KB? How's everybody doing today? Oklahoma basketball gets a dominating second half, just destroys Vanderbilt in the second half. You have the news today, officially the announcement, the quotes from Brent Venables that Brent Venables, will be calling the defense this year. It's happening. And Goodwin on the staff, analyst, coaching linebackers. Also, you have the announcement of Dreiling, also coaching linebackers. They got a good staff on that defensive side of the ball. Brent Venables, if you want to say, I don't know if anybody saw, I've saw quite a bit on Twitter today, but really, if you think about it, the staff they got there right now defensively and probably with the OC, it's a really good staff. The question is, what does it equal from wins next year? I think the defense will be good with Brent Venables calling it. I'm not sitting there thinking that's a worry. I think it'll be good. What will it do? What will it take away from him as far as head coach wise? That's my concern. What will that do with him as head coach? Because it takes a lot to call plays. It's not just show up on a Saturday game day and show plays. There's a lot of prep for that, and there's a lot of stuff involved with it. So we'll see.
Couple of shocking things, Jay. Shocking that BV came out with the comment. I'll get to that in a second. And then the same day, just as shocking, maybe more shocking, OU beats a ranked opponent in basketball by 30. The turnaround on the floor from
they were down 13 in the first half.
They're on a 23-0 run. It was unbelievable. I love the energy Dayton Forsyth brings. The crowd just absolutely loves him. Fears was phenomenal the second half. I love the small lineup. That's what they're going to do. Their schedule's brutal. They got to get to 20 wins. Get to 20 wins, I think they're in. But back to the football thing. Yeah, I'm going to talk about it, but people are asking on here, what about the head coach? I agree. This is the thing, Jay. In my personal opinion, I think BV has to and look, I'm not questioning BV's play calling on defense. I'm excited that he's going to do that. My biggest question is, and kind of curiosity that I'm thinking here is, I think he should delegate some things that a head coach would normally do to some guys that are on the staff. There's a lot of experience on the staff. Just delegate a couple of things. He cannot, in my opinion, give all to both. So delegate.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what they're going to do. And I see Okie Lawn. Just think they beat A&M. It would have been 4 straight wins. That A&M game, up 18 points, is a killer loss. You can look back at it now. Man, they still won 3 out of 4. But, yeah, that's a killer loss, Okie. But they're playing a lot better now. Greg Gott says he won't jump. Hey, the thing is this. Zach Alley was there last year, and he's gone. Brent Venables says, hey, I'm calling the defense, okay? And that's fine. A lot of people have said this year's big year for Brent Venables. Hey, he's going to call it. I don't have a problem with that. All I'm saying is, does that affect in-game coaching? Because I wanted to go back 3 years ago when Brent Venables came to Oklahoma. We all wanted Brent Venables' defense. We wanted him calling the defense. Remember that? And then I remember near the end of the year, a lot of OU fans saying, man, there was a lot of timeouts. When the offense is on the field, he's over there just talking to the defense and doesn't know what's going on offensively because he's talking to the defense. And it worked out okay in some instances because you had Jeff Lebby, and Arbuckle could be that guy. He could be like Lebby, and the offense could be good. I just think it does somewhat take away from a head coach to call either offense or D. I'm not saying either one. Now, Steve Sarkisian does it. Lincoln Riley does it. It can be done. I just think it's harder to do it. And I do think you have to have some things that some people are helping you out in certain things on the game. Because I'll tell you this, I'm glad he's calling defense. I think the defense will be really good with him calling it. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, and Hey, I can't, when my screen is turned this way, I can't see comments. So unless you and Hunter just show a lot of the comments, I'm going to be out on the
We're
comments.
going to show as many as we do, Jerm. We'll show as many as we can. Yep.
I'm just FYIing you, unless I turn my camera the other way to see him so I can respond. But Jay, I do wish that looking back now that they would have just done this from the get-go personally. But that doesn't matter.
Wait, real quick, don't you think this was what they were wanting to do from the get-go, but then the Knowles thing came up and they weighed that decision, tried to maybe go after it?
Yeah, I don't know mentally what they were thinking on some things. Because I don't know if BV ever really wanted to fully relinquish it or not. I don't know, Jay. It sounds like he probably did with Knowles coming in, but it's pointless because this is the staff that's in place. The defensive staff is really, really good. I'll say that. I like that BV's calling plays. I get that. My concern again is, can you wholeheartedly call the defense, work with the defense, and be the head coach? Who's the last defensive guy to do it, Jay?
Well, that's what I was getting ready to ask. And Hunter, if you could, I don't know if you can look this up, or maybe a viewer knows it right off the bat because they're pretty smart. The viewers are, but name some guys right now for big time programs that are coaching, calling the defensive plays. And I'm trying to just think off the top of my head, defensive coaches that are calling it right now. And Sooner says he did it last year. He might have called some things, but I don't think he called every play like he's going to be. I mean, he's going to be calling it all. So I think that's the difference.
Agree, Jay. It's last year. You never saw that. When Zach Alley came in, BV did not quote, "I'll be calling the defense." He did not quote that. Hey, I think corrections. Kirby Smart, I think, was Dan Lanning, right, Jay, when he won it.
I think, but it's been a while, maybe 2 or 3 years since he called it, I thought. So maybe 2020.
There are two offensive coaches who do it. Yes, there are.
Yes, offensively, yes. Defensively, not as much. And, hey, there was a comment I was wanting to get to. Ray, believe he has a decent coaching staff. Yeah, I agree. I think that it's good. Now, Billion says BV better than Jim Knowles. Here's what I'll say. Jim Knowles just won the national championship. But if both those guys were available as defensive coordinators next year, both of them would be at the top of the list. BV would be the most wanted guy at defensive coordinator if he got let go at Oklahoma or he decided not to be a head coach anymore down the road. If he just wanted to coach defense, everybody in every school would be after him. He's that good. Everybody knows this. He's won national championships. That's not the issue. I don't think anybody is even considering that he's going to have a problem calling the defense. It's in his blood. It's what he does. He can probably do it just in his sleep. But at the same time, you have to be a head coach. And
I agree. I agree with Larry that I think it's more difficult on the defensive side. Arkansas beat Kentucky.
They were up at 11. They've been up 11 most of the game. They're dominating them.
Wow, spoiled Rupp Arenas boot 'em of John Calipari. That's an embarrassment for Kentucky. Now, Jay.
It might not be over yet. I don't think it's over yet.
Jay.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm going to say one thing, and I've been very critical. I know that in the Discord, Hunter kind of was trying to get me going earlier today about this decision and stuff, but I'm going to say this. BV came out today. He's calling the defense. Several players, even other coaches, have tweeted and implied that they are super excited about it. Love it. Okay, I love that part. But the best thing about BV calling the defense, in my opinion, if he's going to call the defense, then he needs to get the get back coach, and he needs to act like he did when he was the DC. And I'll be all for it. So
you really just want him to be the DC?
No, he's the head coach, Jay, but I want him to be it seems like he's going in DC mode right now. I want him to be in DC mode. That's what I want. Oh, Hunter, please get tossed. Have you seen Matt Campbell?
Hey,
They don't toss coaches.
I've never seen. When's the last time a college football coach got tossed?
Head coach can't act like that. Have you? What? They absolutely can. They absolutely can act like that. Hey, if this means BV getting his mojo back, then absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
hey,
I want the get back coach. I want the fire, all that stuff.
Hey, Daniel brings up an interesting point. We talked about this a little off air today, Jerm, and I know Hunter was talking about it too. If he's calling the defense, Wes Goodwin and Nate need to be in the press box. Do you agree with that?
Well, here's what I'll say. Hey, Daniel, if both of those guys are in the box, I don't mind it. But then that means Skaliski probably needs to be on the field. Someone's got to be on the field with the linebackers, unless it's just going to be BV with the linebackers.
Johnny saying, calm down, Jeremy. What was this? It says
Skaliski could do that, or
why
put Skaliski in Goodwin, whatever.
I don't know if Sooner WX is directing this at you or somebody else in the chat, but
okay. Hey, I'm not. Wait, who said I'm mad at BV? Please, I didn't say that. I said if he came out today, you saw the quote. I'm calling the defense in 2025. We got everything in place, all the pieces in place. We've got everything we need here. I'm calling the defense. It sounded like he was pumped. I want the BV back that coach defense. I want that aggression, that fire. I think he's kind of toned back as the head coach. He's got to have his eyes everywhere.
Hey, I'll say this. I see Hunter bringing it up too. And going back to kind of Daniel's question, I think since both those guys are going to be coaching linebackers, and one inside, one outside, I think one of them will be in the booth and I think one will be on the field. Now, you might see a Brandon Hall or somebody up in the booth but I don't think Nate and Wes will both be in the booth. I think one stays down for the linebackers because linebacker is such an important position in this defense that I think you have to have somebody on the field. Now, the thing is, here's what I'm going to be interested to see because Brent Venables is calling the defense. But what I'm going to be interested to see is, okay, because he has worked with Goodwin plenty of times, okay? Does he trust? I think he probably does. I think you have to trust Goodwin, Dreiling, all the staff you have where it's on, you're not playing on defense. You got the ball. You got to trust some of those guys to go do some adjustment stuff. And you got to be the head coach and focus on what's going on offensively. You can't just be in the timeout huddles with the defense. I don't think you will, but I'm just saying you got to have a little bit of structure to it. I think being the DC and the head coach. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I think they'll be good defensively. So
fit with Fry. This is why I liked what he said today. I mean, if he's calling the defense, there can't be any protection of coaches. There can't be any. To me, I liked what he said. That it sounded very confident because I know he's confident himself. Why wouldn't he be? He's a really good DC. As far as the head coaching goes, I don't know if a guy like Todd Bates, Brandon Hall can be delegated some things. That's what I've alluded to. I would like a guy like that to be delegated some of the head coach responsibilities, even if it's behind the scenes stuff. Those guys have a lot of respect from players, I promise you. Okay? Like, if BV goes to the player and says, listen, I'm going to be focused on defense. I'm calling the defense. This guy is now in charge of whatever it is. What is wrong with that? I mean, it's still Brent's head coaching title in the end anyway that's going to either go down or resurrect the program. They're going to go down in flames. They're going to resurrect the program. I just think there's some things that have to be delegated personally.
Hey,
now, B may say, no, nothing needs to be delegated, and that's fine. But personally, I think there's some things that can be delegated.
Mayor Monty, appreciate it. $2 at the Goodwill store. Found it. Goodwill in Arkansas. I guess nobody liked OU. They threw it in there for $2. So can't beat that, Nike. I got to get to something. I got to ask Grey God. So you're saying BV as defensive coordinator, you're not happy with all this at all. You think they should have went and got a DC to be the DC and Brent Venables should have been a head coach. So Is that what you're saying? You would have rather them want guy to be the DC? KB says Hunter J said to rein them in when they. Oh, I was talking about me. Fit with Fry. Thanks for the super. Appreciate it. Appreciate you doing that, man. Means a lot. Thank you so much. Correct, Jay.
Jay.
So Greg thinks they should have went and got just a regular DC to be the DC.
Look, I saw who was it? Notre Dame went and got a guy that's been in the NFL the last few years, that used to be at Texas. I've been saying that I wouldn't have minded him going after Gary Patterson, Will Muschamp, Phil Parker, but it doesn't matter now. BV came out today and said he's calling the defense, and that's not the issue for me.
Do you think it has to do with this? What OVU Revenge Tour says? Do you think more of it has to do with that, like, or no?
I mean, part of it could be, but that's my issue, Jake. If BV thought, look, it's my neck. Look, I'm the one that's going to get fired by this hire. I mean, if we don't perform on the field this year, I'm done. That's probably his mindset. So if that's true, then as the head coach, he probably wants as much control of his job as he can, and that's him being the DC. I get that. But at that point, should have just done it from the beginning, in my opinion. But it doesn't even matter, Jay. I just think some things be delegated.
Well, I think we're focused. I think maybe we're focusing too much on the defense is going to be good. I don't think that's not going to be the issue. But what does it look like? And I'm talking more in generality of Oklahoma football, not just defense. I'm talking about the whole structure of how you run a program and be the defensive coordinator. Now, the good thing about this is year 4. It's not like these guys haven't played in BV's system. So he's not year 1 trying to implement the defense and call plays. So you would think a lot of the offseason, a lot of the practice stuff, he's got guys to coach them up. Like you do have 2 linebackers. You have guys that can coach him up in practice. He can prepare and get ready for the game, and he's calling plays. So I mean, we'll see what happens, guys. I will see.
I do think he won't be spending. I do think calling the defense is going to be his main priority. I don't think he's going to spend a lot of times with the linebackers. Like, I don't think he's going to be focused on the linebackers. He's literally just going to be focused on defensive play calling. That's what I think.
KB, that's the definition of insanity, I think, is what you're trying to say. Correct?
How much did he call the defense with Ted Roof there, Jay?
Year 1, he pretty much did it.
Percentage, Surgeaholics. What percentage of the defensive play calling did Brent Venables call with Ted Roof?
Year 1, a lot.
And what percentage did he call with Zach Alley? My guess is 100% with Ted Roof. And probably 25% with Alley. I can't see any comment. I'm going to go back to the other way.
Hunter says probably over 75%. If he had to guess. Hub says 100%. Greg got said all of it. We know what Daniel said. Fit with Fry called 70% with Roof, 30% with Alley. I'm pretty okay. Fit with Fry. I would bump it up. I'd say 75% with Roof, and I'd probably say 40% with Alley. But I think you're pretty close. I think you might be pretty close there, Fit.
Hey, and I saw the question from Oaken Long Guy. Why hasn't Forsyth been the starting 5? You got to reward the guy. At least Porter Moser rewarded him with a lot of minutes today. He's a hometown. He's just an Oklahoma guy. The fans absolutely love him. Hey, Daniel says defense is fine. The offensive cohesion is what I'm worried about, and that cohesion includes BV. That is why I'm more pessimistic about him being the play caller.
That's it. That's it. That's what I'm saying too. He's got to be over all of it. How much does that pull you away from offense? How much? And I don't listen. I'm not sitting there saying I want him involved in the offense. Like I want Arbuckle to do that, but you still got to be over it as a head coach. You kind of got to be over the whole thing and how practices are ran, everything. So I'm kind of with you a little bit, Daniel, but we'll see. I hope this works out, man. I mean, he would be one of the to do it as a DC. Not many are doing it, like you said, but. We'll see. I like Brent Venables on defense for sure. Can't complain there. But how many wins is that going to equal?
I wouldn't be shocked, Jay, if there's a couple of coaching title changes.
To who though, Jerm? Who would it be to? They already have right now. You already have 2 co-DCs, and that's Bates and Valai.
And an assistant head coach.
Well, nobody else is getting a co-DC, so nobody's getting a DC title.
head coach.
Yeah, and Hunter says, why wouldn't they have announced that today, though?
I don't know, Jay. Maybe there's something they're going to think about. Who is it then, Hunter? Is it Beatenbow? Or is it Brandon Hall? Who's the assistant to the head coach? As a title. That's my question, Jay.
Is there one right now? Hey, let me get the trivia. Let me get the trivia.
Jay Valai, who people have said may be gone. I don't know how. In my opinion, a defensive guy should not be the assistant of the head coach. It should be an offensive guy.
No, Benjamin, not 4 Cody C's, 2.
He's laughing,
Valai?
Jay.
What?
He's laughing. It was a joke, Jay.
I think he was. I don't know if he's being sarcastic or what, but yeah, they only have 2. Hey, let's get to trivia. Trivia tonight. Before we do, check out the Fan Stop, www.thefanstop.com. Code SURGE, you get 10% off your first 3 months for the Shirt of the Month Club. Sign up by February 20th. You get the St. Patrick's Day shirt, the nice green shirt for March that you can wear on St. Patrick's Day and support the Sooners. So check them out, thefanstop.com. Here we go with trivia. 18 years ago, everybody, 18 years ago, a man by the name of Gerald McCoy signed with Oklahoma. Yeah, it's been 18 years. That's kind of wild. He signed with Oklahoma. Here's the trivia. And I think this is going to be very easy, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I know y'all are pretty smart. I think it's going to be a very quick answer, so be ready. Gerald McCoy had 1 interception in his career at Oklahoma. Who was it against? Speaking of 3, he played that 3 technique now, didn't he? He played that 3-down lineman really well. There it is. Chester starting off the month. Is today February 1st?
Yeah, 918 won last month.
That's right. So Chester gets the first point of the month. Chester, you got it. Florida. And by the way, I went and watched some highlights of that game today. Gosh, you should have won that game, dude. If you remember the 3rd and 4th down that they went for it on the 1-yard line of Florida's couldn't get it. There was so many things. It's like, dang, they should have won that championship, man. And Percy Harvin killed them.
Todd Bates is the assistant head coach. And that's right. I think I mentioned Bates, and that's fine. I think he should be delegated some things. And I think he will be. Hey, someone asked, I think it was Ferkton. Guten Tag, guten Night, Ferkton. Glad you can join us. Listen, will the coordinators hold Arbuckle back? BV has, if that's a thing, if that's really happening, BV, as the head coach, has to go there and say, what Arbuckle says is happening. Arbuckle decides which running backs he wants in. Arbuckle decides. And hey, I thought Hunter's Todd Bates was.
Hey, DeMarco was injured in that game, Daniel, and Chester, you're right. Brent called an amazing game. The interception that McCoy had, he dropped McCoy and another defensive lineman into coverage, and they got the pick on Tebow. But you know what? I'm feeling like asking another trivia from that game. You ready for it? I'm going to give you another point in the line. You had 2 interceptions that day. Who had the first one?
I don't know, but the job titles at OU for their coaches is ridiculous. Associate, assistant.
Every team does that, Germ. There it is. Chester, dude. Chester is 2 points tonight. Deuces for Chester. Nick Harris. By the way, Nick Harris would light you up. They had some dudes on that team that would just.
What number was he, Jay?
Number 5.
Yeah. Hey, really quickly. That I see the comment about how does DeMarco not have a say? DeMarco should have a say in the running back room. He coaches him. But he should not say, well, I want this guy to play this series. No, that's not right. He shouldn't say, I want this guy to play this series. He should coach those guys up when they're ready to play. When Arbuckle calls a play, he's the one that should say who's in on that play. That's my opinion. And I may be 100% off, Jay, but the job of the running back coach is to get the running backs developed and ready to play and know all the plays and be elite when it's time to execute. But Arbuckle should be the guy who says who's playing.
Yeah. Hey, Hunter, open the phone lines. Open them up. Phone lines are open.
Hey, there was something else I wanted to say. I don't remember what it was now. I'm getting frustrated at myself.
And Daniel says the running back coach chooses what running back is in that series,
And
unfortunately.
do you agree with that, Daniel? Or he says unfortunately, so I don't think he agrees with it. But
there's the line. Call in if you'd like to chat tonight. It's Saturday night. We're talking Sooner football in February. But
even
hey, that's what we do in the show.
Hey, real quick, basketball, great win, 30-point win over a ranked opponent. Huge with the schedule they got coming up. Women play tomorrow, and then softball's this week. We have a special softball live coming your way tomorrow before our normal live. So we're going to have 2 lives tomorrow. If you're a softball fan, join us tomorrow.
What's up, Platone? How are you tonight, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Well, my take on the whole situation is I think I'm enthusiastic. I think, I'm not really sold on I don't know enough about the recent defensive additions, but I know that's his side of the ball. So I'm going to let BV take over that. I think he's fine to do play calling. I think the offenses are a big issue. So I'm good with that. A couple of questions for you guys. I don't know if you heard Nebraska's coach today, but he said he's not doing a spring game because he's scared of other people poaching his players. So I thought that was pretty humorous. I mean, I'm sure everything's up for grabs now. They can grab it anytime. When Xavier Lucas transferred from Wisconsin to Miami without even going through the portal, I mean, there's no rules anymore, basically. So I don't know. I would still do the game anyway. I mean, anybody can come get your players at any time. There's no rules anymore.
I agree. Platone, I totally agree with you. I think it's kind of silly because if you have a player that's really good, they already know who he is. I mean, they're not, oh my gosh, who's this guy from Nebraska? I mean, they already know. And Platone, I think, is already gone, but they already know most of the good players. I mean, so do it.
It's a cop-out to just save people from injury, in my opinion. We got Fit with Fry on here. Thanks for the super earlier, and now you're calling in. Appreciate it. What's up, Fit with Fry?
You guys want to know what I'm about sick of?
What's that?
I'll tell you this right here. Every single time I'd see BV after a loss, he'd be there smiling, laughing, acting like nothing big happened. Every time we needed a stop on a big third down against Missouri, what happens? Deep pass, deep pass, deep pass.
Well,
The reason why Zach Alley wanted to go to that 3-3-5 was because he knew we couldn't stop nobody deep. We had no problem stopping the run. All our big guns are up front. We ain't putting no money into the back end of the defense.
Hey,
it's about ridiculous. Zach Alley knew we couldn't stop the deep pass. He said, I got to go to a 3-3-5. Brent said no. Alley left. That's simple.
I do. I mean, we heard it. I think you're right about there was a lot of control stuff is why Alley left. I think you're right on that. I think he wanted full control. I mean, hey, I like 3-3-5 if you got guys to do it. And I like to see him run a little more 3-3-5 personally. I know a lot of people don't, but I'd like to see it.
You got to get the big guys up front. You just got to put the three big, huge guys right up front. Get rid of those little skinny defensive ends. Stop the run with the big guys. Let the freaking linebackers roam. Let them rush sometimes. Let them do their thing, and then put big guys on the back end. If you got five on 4, you got 4 receivers out there. Let one of the linebackers guard the dang tight end, and then let those 5 guys stop them.
Hey, Fit, breathe for a minute. Fit, let me ask you this, though. You say those skinny defensive ends. R. Mason Thomas is pretty good.
Well, R. Mason Thomas, yeah, but
come on now.
But when you're playing SEC ball, you need those big guys up front. You need those refrigerators. You need those guys who are taking up space.
R. Mason was great in the SEC. But, hey, I want to say this, Fit with Fry. One of the issues is they play zone so much. Now listen. Outside of 2 or 3 plays, especially against LSU, the defensive calls on the deep balls, the calls were fine. They didn't get it. The guys didn't make the play. They had great coverage on a lot of those. Great coverage.
I'll tell you what, though. This is one big thing that we're missing. How many throwing quarterbacks did we play against? Every throwing quarterback against Ole Miss, every time Jackson Dart needed something, pass, first down, first down.
Yeah, second half he did.
And guess what? First half we stopped him. Second half we get burnt out. Guess what? Quinn Ewers, every time he needed a first down. First half, stop him a little bit. Second quarter, third quarter, every pass down the field, can't stop a dang thing.
Hey,
Zach Alley saw that. He saw that, and he knew that we were not going to win the SEC with that defense.
But Fit, let me say this: you have to. You can run 3-3-5 some. You can't be in 3-3-5 all the time in the SEC. It's something you can run every once in a while. You can't run it all the time.
Obviously, if you're against a running team, you ain't gonna run no 3-3-5 the whole game. But you get these guys, you get those big old receivers. That kid at Auburn with Jackson Arnold next year probably gonna smoke us up and down the field. You put Eli Bowen on him 1-on-1. That big old kid,
Auburn,
you know who I'm talking.
Auburn couldn't do much against OU last year.
No, but that one kid did. That big old receiver. What's his name?
Hey.
The freshman? Probably just as good as Jeremiah Smith. Just didn't have nobody throwing the ball.
Fit, are you worried about the defense next year? I'm not too worried about the defense.
I'm worried about that pass defense when you got 5'9" safeties trying to guard 6'3".
I'll say this: the pass defense out of the defense next year, that is what has to improve the most. I agree with you there.
I think
I agree with you.
Boganowski will help Fit with Fry. Hey, thanks for calling in, man.
Sorry, guy. Yeah, I'll quit talking on here because I'm about to go back ballistic.
Appreciate it, man.
Have a good one, man.
Hey,
thanks for calling in, Fit. Wow, he wound up, man. He's ready to roll.
Mike Boganowski's size, I like. Look, instead of 3, Jay, I would rather see man coverage at a lot of it instead of switching to the 3-3-5. I'd rather see more press man coverage.
No, listen, hey, I don't mind seeing 3-3-5 in situations, but you can't, like, specifically when it's they're going to have to throw. I mean, yeah, but you can't run 3-3-5 all the time. It looks like Arkansas is going to win that game.
Hey, I'm going to try to get someone on here, Jay, that knows Nate Dreiling.
Go for it, Germ.
I have a really good source.
Hey, thanks for the call, Fit. Appreciate you calling in tonight. Now, would you agree with this, though? Would you agree with defensive-wise next year? That is the position on defense that is probably the most unproven going into the year, because who's going to be opposite Eli? That's the big question. Who's it going to be?
I mean, everyone wants to say Gentry, and that's fine.
I would love it if he's healthy.
Jay, I want to see Boganowski on the back end with. And I'm telling you right now, people may come at me for this. I want Boganowski more than I want to see Peyton Bowen.
Bowen didn't.
The other
Bowen
thing people are going to come at
me for.
The other thing people are going to come at me for is I want Kendall Dolby starting corner on the opposite side of Eli.
Well, we'll see if that happens. I mean,
if Kendall Dolby is healthy, I want him opposite Eli.
I'm excited about Boganowski. I'm excited about Powers. I'm excited about RSJ coming back. I mean, they got guys they got players all over that defensive unit. They do. It's just a matter of the pass defense. They did have some issues with down the stretch. That's the one position that on defense say, okay, we got to get that solidified a little bit. If you're OU, who's it going to be? And they got to get depth at defensive back. Because I mean, let's face facts. Kenai Walker comes in for 2 years, transfers in, and he was okay when they played when it was down the field. He wasn't fast enough to stay with them. That was his only issue. Hey, have a good night, Johnny. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. Thanks for joining.
I saw the comment. There's one about Bowen and Boganowski. Yeah, except I like RSJ a lot. And Chief, Kendall Dolby, it will depend on how he comes back from the injury, but he was the number one, the number one. I'm going to say it again. Number one JUCO DB cornerback. He wasn't the number one cheated position because that's not a thing. He was the number one DB out of JUCO. He can definitely play corner and do it well. Now, the guy is Devin Jordan, Jay. I like him a lot. I like him a whole lot.
I do too. Greg God brought it up and watched him play in high school. He can shut down. Now in high school, but I haven't seen him play in college enough to know. Bogues is 6'2". I saw this.
6'2". I want him out there.
Fit Fry says all those guys are undersized. Came down 6'3". How tall is Kendall Daniels, Jeremy? 6'4"?
almost 6'5", Jay. He's pretty close to what Deshaun McCullough was. Exactly. And I think he's going to play cheetah, and he's going to come in linebacker or something. But I think Kendall Daniels, I expect him to be the starting cheetah. That's what I think.
Once again, phone lines are open if you would like to call in.
I'm going to go out right now and make a pretty statement right now. I'll say it.
What?
Give me something to do, because I'm so confident that Kendall Daniels is the starting safety week 1.
You mean cheetah?
I mean, starting cheetah. If Kendall Daniels is not the starting cheetah, man, what could I? I'm not going to shave my early in the year. I'll come up with something.
Okie says there's a brawl. There's a brawl in the Houston game. So
not surprising.
Arkansas.
What's Harry?
What? I don't know what Jerem's doing. I don't know what happened. Hey, we got True Sooner on the line. What's up, True?
What's going on, fellas?
What's up tonight? How are you?
Doing good, doing good. I'm happy about the basketball game. They just got to win a couple of games on the road. They got to find a way to run on the road. The way you win these games and to get into the tournament is you got to be able to play well on the road. That's anybody, college or pro. You got to be able to win on the road. That's what makes the bread. I did want to talk about these new these new additions. Young is good. I'm a hasten to say this though, that I keep telling people, and they're sleeping. I'm hearing all these YouTube channels, not so much you guys, but these other YouTube channels that, especially one of the guys that you guys have been having an issue with. He ended up blocking me for 24 hours because he didn't like my criticism of certain things. I think you guys knew what I'm talking about too. Anyways, I think this Michigan game is gonna say a lot. It's got so much going with it. Given the head coach is a former Sooner, a former Joe Moore, 2-time Joe Moore Award winner, offensive line coach, came up from nowhere, really earned. You know, he didn't walk into he didn't have a Bill Snyder when he first started out as a graduate assistant, rugrat coach, just out of nowhere. So also with the defensive coordinator, he's like 71 years old, Wink Martindale, and I was listening to you guys talk about the 3-3-5. The 3-3-5 is fine. You got to have the right players. And the one thing about the 3-3-5 is you got to be able to cover. You got to be able to confuse really well, and you have to. And it's amazing how a guy like Wink Martindale, he comes in, and yes, he's been in the NFL, and he's done some. I mean, he's the father of the Baltimore Ravens defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's who he is. If you guys didn't know that, if your listeners didn't know that, and he's 71 years old, and man, I've watched the Baltimore Ravens over since Ray Lewis, and man, they're just active everywhere. They get after you, they confuse you, but the one thing in the confusement is they always seem to be they don't give up a lot of big plays. They're in position to make a play, tip a ball, interception, make sure they get the tackle. Maybe NFL's just better at that. I don't know. I know. I know Gary Gibbs. You rarely saw Gary Gibbs' team when he was coaching defense. They made tackles. There wasn't all this missed action. Maybe against a team like Miami, which had a pro style, and with the athletes to do it, that was his only thing is Miami. I mean, nope. Go ahead.
On the highway or what? I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm on
the highway.
I'm definitely on some vehicle right now.
Italian job.
Huh?
Hey.
Yeah, it's really loud. I'm sorry.
Hey, you're good. I understand what you're saying. You said it before about Michigan. Hey, thanks for the call. What True is saying, he thinks the Michigan game that could be it could be a turning point for OU next year, good or bad. I know True earlier this year called in. We could hear him better earlier this year, and it was he thinks that Michigan game is going to be not good for OU. So thanks for calling in, True. Appreciate it.
Hey, I want to get to two comments. One thing you said right at the beginning, I think it's more important for OU basketball to win the home games. That gets them in the tournament. Win the home games they're in. They don't need to win another single road game if they win their home games. That's a fact, 100%.
That means you had to beat Kentucky and Tennessee at home, though.
It doesn't matter. It's a fact. If you win your home games, you're in. But going back to and thanks for the super, Chief. Appreciate your support so much. Lots of talent on defense. The key to our season. How do you guys feel about what we have there now? I want to get to that. I also want to get to what Daniel said about a lot of times guys seem small and they're not small. But we do have Sooner Thrawn. I want to talk about Jay. After we get off the line with Sooner Thrawn, I really want to focus on the O-line for a second.
Okay, let's do that. Sooner Thrawn, what's up?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
A few things to address that they've talked about tonight. First of all, the biggest thing in the basketball to me, it was they actually won the rebounding, that's been their biggest problem. And I don't really think Vanderbilt's a great down low team, but if they can do that, and then Fears can play somewhat like that, they're actually a frustrating team because at times they look like they could actually win a few tournament games. And other times.
But Sooner Thrawn, the thing is, they rebounded today without playing the bigs. They were going that small lineup, and their guards.
That's weird. I don't really understand that.
I do. Effort. I saw 5 or 6 guys go up high for rebounds. Miles, Forsythe, Fears, Moore. Give some effort, and it happens.
Yeah, I mean, the first half, I was about ready to have Porter just get on the bus. It's over. I mean, they looked dead. But I tell you what, the last 25 minutes of that game, they looked like they were just reborn or something. But
that's because Forsythe is like the old Tim Heskett, except he's way more talented. The guy's on the floor more than he's off the floor. He's rolling around. He's diving. He's getting loose balls. He's driving. He's shooting threes. Got to play that. He's a spark plug.
You mentioned Tim Heskett. I love it. My dad, my folks, they were the neighborhood they live in, Oklahoma City. Tim Heskett used to live by them.
Oh,
so
nice.
they knew him, and it was funny. They built a small little basketball court in the neighborhood, and Tim Heskett's son, who was little, he would tell people, "That's my dad's court."
Oh, jeez. Nice.
The other thing is, I don't know whether some of these people are going bananas about the defense. I mean, if the OU offense was just okay last year, the defense wouldn't have had to have those end of the games. We got to make the greatest play.
It's complimentary, yeah.
And I just see the 23 was the most complimentary season, and it's so different. You're going to have a coach that's coached a guy for 2 years, ran the offense, coming in, knows the offense. He actually has a quarterback coach and an assistant quarterback coach that he's played with for 2 years, compared to a first-year quarterback, no quarterback coach, a new OC. He didn't have it, and so I look at Levy and DG. I mean, they had so much more chemistry. Now, I don't expect them to be as good because I do think the O-line and wide receivers are just to be, and the defenses they faces are a lot harder. And that's the other point. You mentioned the Florida game. Last thing, I do think there may be a reality check. I've been thinking about this, and I know the answer. In BCS title games or in playoff games, how many SEC teams did Stoops and Riley beat? I know the answer, and you guys do too, but I'm just making a point. How many? That would be none.
Yeah, in the BCS, they would beat him in other meaningless bowl games.
But none. But my point is, and even with Riley, he had a few of these offensive guys. I know Beanball was the O-line coach, and they looked awful. They didn't do anything. So here's my point. I really think the reality of the fact is OU had these amazing seasons because they didn't play as good at teams. And now we're seeing that finally. And we're getting these schedules that are brutal. And that's why I don't believe in Texas either. They have to prove it. To get a schedule like ours before, because they didn't beat any of the good teams.
Yeah, but it's hard to argue Texas back-to-back playoffs. I mean,
yeah, but I'm saying they don't. Their schedule's so different than ours. It's not even the same.
But it's this way. It's going to be this way for the next until they change the schedule. It's going to be this way all the time with different teams. But you're right. I mean, this is a brutal schedule for you this year, and
that's my point. Is I just don't. That's why I don't believe in Texas until they do it in a schedule versus us. Now, I'm not saying they're not good, but remember Steve Spurrier, what he would play at 12 games that he'd win 10 games that he had better talent. Sark does that. The reason Sark gets so much hype is the Texas guys before him, the last few, they didn't beat teams that had better talent.
Well, OU needs to win games. OU needs to win games against lesser talent, aka Kansas and Oklahoma State.
Hey Jay, Sooner-thron and Jay,
right?
Texas, outside of a horrible play call, Texas was tied with Ohio State with 2 minutes left. So
but he didn't win. He didn't learn.
I agree. He did horrible play calling. They were playing with them. They
had. And against us, 1st and goal at the 1, and against Ohio State, 1st and goal at the 1. He has a 6'5", 230 quarterback on the side, and he didn't run one quarterback sneak. Not one.
Play call. Their fans are pulling their hair out too. So, hey, Sooner-thron, thanks, man.
All right, man.
Thanks for the call.
Hey, I want to, Jay, there was a comment about, look, let me address it because was I critical of Jeremiah Fears last game? Yeah. Can I be? Yeah. And what was I critical of? Effort on defense, his body language. I didn't care about the turnovers. I never have. I was mad about the effort. He played. He was way more engaged today, and he played a heck of a second half. So yeah, sorry, I'm going to be critical of guys when I don't see what I think should be happening. So and then the other thing, the comment, I think it was Zayas. Maybe you can find it, Hunter. Zayas said something about playing Dayton Forsyth with Fears and Kobe, or Fears and Goodwin, and having other 3 guards go off the bench. No, Duke Miles, it has to be a starter. Duke Miles is playing great ball.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of the O-line, Chief asked about it. I think they got they got really good talent on the offensive line, young. My question is, who experienced are you that's experienced on the O-line are you just super excited about? Is it Troy Everett?
No.
Would you consider Heath Azida experienced?
I'm more excited about the other guy. I'm more excited about EPL.
Yeah, I think I'm more excited about the youngsters. And hey, Bill Beatembo, I know a lot of people bash him and stuff, but I guarantee you, if tomorrow he was not at OU, his phone would ring off the hook. Okay, so let's just.
Is Sears coming back as a PWO? Is that official? Because I haven't heard it be official yet.
But he's back. Hey, we got a caller. We got Keith on the line. What's up, Keith?
How y'all doing tonight?
All right, man. How are you?
Oh, great. It was fun watching that OU basketball game.
Good win.
With OU coming back from 13 down, 17 down.
13 down to 30-point win, yep.
Winning, I think they said that was the largest win OU's had against a ranked opponent in program history. That's saying a lot. But to show that they could do that, they could come back at the end and win by 30. That's pretty fantastic.
It was much needed. Had to have it. So.
But hey, a couple of points. You were talking about BV as the head coach and the DC and balancing those duties. And how many other coaches have ever done it successfully? I don't know what the various duties of head coach needs to be farmed out to some of his other staff while he's focusing on defensive coach plays. But can he do it? Has he done it before? Has he done it? We didn't even realize he was doing it.
He was doing it at OU the first few years with Roof.
Yeah. So,
it's the same thing.
So he's played that role before, and I think he's going to be able to continue to do it next year. But the other thing is the offensive line.
Yeah.
When will we ever know if that offensive line is better? Will it take until September 1st?
Well, I saw Sargent put it in there about that, because the last few years, Keith, it's taken multiple games before you figure anything out, because they can't figure out who the five are going to be, either with injury or what happens. They really need this year to be 5 going into game 1. Who's your 5 and roll with it? Because even last year, Keith, Ozida, if they would have just played him earlier on, like, he was getting better at the end of the year, but it took them a while to get him in the lineup because of the different injuries, and they were moving guys from here to here. They really need to get that settled early on, so you can see what's going on with the O-line.
Yeah. Consistency.
Yeah. Got to be more consistent for sure.
Yeah. And like Jerm, you were saying about Dolby on defense. My gosh, they need Dolby on corner.
Be nice.
Hopefully he'll be healthy and he'll be able to play for the season.
Yeah, he's a guy. Nice. He's a guy that's around the ball. He makes plays. He won't ever woo you maybe with his size or speed, but he's like a Trey Norwood, guys like that. He's a ball hawk. He's savvy. All those things. I want to see him out there.
Hey, thanks for the call, Keith.
All right, guys.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Hey, Marcus asked there. Marcus,
the Troy stuff, and I asked you last night about it, Jay. When I wasn't on the show, I just sent it in there. But the line, this is a fact. The line was better when Troy Everett was at center.
Yeah, I'm not. You're higher on him than I am. I mean,
actually, I'm not. I was high on Bates, but what I'm saying is, when he came back and was center, they were better. And he put on the weight he wanted. He put the weight on. He was hurt at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, Teresa answered Marcus's question about Thursday being the first softball game. Marcus asked what position we played in softball, Jerm. I was shortstop. Jerm was left fielder. We talked a little bit about it last night. That's probably why I was asking.
We won the Class D state tournament in Oklahoma, Jay. D. Marini bats, all that stuff. That was great.
Good times, man. Good times. Anything else tonight? Big win for Sooners. Hey, next Saturday, I saw Oakley Long guy said he's going. I think I might be going. OU Tennessee in Norman, 11 o'clock tip. Guys, gals, this game, because you play Auburn midweek, the chance of OU winning at Auburn, I mean, it's a no-lose situation. You go in there and see what happens. But you're coming back home to play Tennessee in a game that would be massive for Oklahoma. Here's the thing. You can talk about OU, what wins they need to get to. Guys, they have some major wins already this year it's really good for them. Michigan, Arizona, Louisville. Louisville lost tonight, but they had won 10 straight games, I believe. They were on a big winning streak. They have some really good wins on their resume. They need to get to that 7-11 mark, probably get in the tournament. They need to win the home games. A Tennessee win at home would be massive for this team. So get out there and support them for sure.
The SGA block on Monk was nasty, and Aaron Wiggins scoring 41 was unbelievable. Hey,
you know what I saw today? I saw this today. I don't know if anybody else saw it, but the stuff on SGA about, I don't know if it was Steph Curry's sister mad because he I guess after every game he puts like his fit for the game, and then he does like a highlight or a quote. And I guess he did like 4 different images from against Steph Curry, scoring on Steph Curry, but he usually only does one. She was kind of whining about it, I think, on Twitter or something. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, fill the LNC up. Yeah, you definitely need to storm the court. But hey, tomorrow, guys, quick announcement. We will have a softball live that will be before our normal 9:30 live. We're not sure exactly on the time as of yet, but it will happen sometime tomorrow before our normal live. It'll be only Sooner softball, talking about this week's season opener and just a preview to the season. So if you're a softball fan or you know a softball fan, make sure you subscribe and you join us tomorrow for the softball live. Also, I've got a source I'm going to reach out to, see if they can get on here about maybe coming on the live and talking to us about Nate Dreiling. Was there with him for a year or so.
Yep. Tomorrow night, 9:30, we'll be back. Sooner Surge Live. We'll talk football, whatever you want to talk about at 9:30. Thanks for the supers tonight. Chief T-Bird, thanks for the super. Also, Fit with Fry, thanks for the super. For the ones that called in, True Sooner, Fit with Fry, Keith, Sooner Thrawn, I appreciate it. Thanks for everybody in the chat. You guys kept it rolling as normal, as you always do. Appreciate you so much.
Oh, wait. Hey, I got to talk on this. Listen, guys, I got to close it with this. So moved my dad in last night. My family and I went there tonight and hung out. First off, my kids love it. It's got a little hoop shoot. It's got all kinds of stuff up there. But Dad is already adjusted. He socialized more today maybe than he did at the last place combined. We went down there and sang old church hymns with him, with the lady playing the piano. He loved every bit of it. It was great. It was great, great, great. Thanks for the prayers. We're excited for him there at this new place. And Daniel says, I don't think softball will be profitable this year. Tomorrow night, softball live. I see they're joking about those things, but we'll see you guys tomorrow night. And check out the fan stop. You see it there. Sign up by February 20th and get that beauty sent to your house in March. Appreciate it.